Welcome to Thrive, Transformative Strategies for the New Year, the CLA virtual conference poised to redefine your approach to success. Today, we unite under the banner of innovation, ready to forge new paths in personal and professional growth. Each speaker today brings unique insights to propel us forward. Get ready to explore innovative strategies that will enhance your growth journey in 2024.
Today, I'm going to open up with a quick introduction about my journey, but most importantly, how you too can also unlock quantum productivity and learn how to compress time and achieve yearly goals on a quarterly basis. So, as a quick introduction, my name is Michael. I am a productivity expert, business coach, and founder of Elite Productivity, and my mission is simple, which is to help entrepreneurs get time back so they can build great business and experience their best lives. And today, it's of hundreds of private clients across 40 different countries to simultaneously create an abundance of impact, income, freedom, and autonomy. But whilst all this looks and sounds awesome, my journey started from the very bottom. In fact, I didn't even discover entrepreneurship until my third year in college, because growing up in a middle-class family where both my parents hustled to climb the corporate ladder to provide for me and my younger brother, I had three career choices: doctor, lawyer, or a failure. So I studied hard and became a veterinary surgeon. But in between clinical shifts, I would start reading books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, 4-Hour Work Week, and over time, I realized that I didn't want to spend 50 hours per week in an animal clinic for the next 30 years of my life. So not knowing any better, I bought an online course and started an e-com business despite massive pushback from my parents and my friends back then because, hey, I knew no one in my circle who actually owns a business. And I did it. I had a grand vision or purpose, but I did it because according to the landing page of that course, I can earn life-changing money whilst working 4 hours a week from a beach. But 18 months later, instead of achieving that, instead of getting rich and living on a beach, I found myself sitting on the side of the road in total shock. Because having worked 12 to 16-hour days, 7 days per week, for months over months, my body decided to shut down and I fell asleep whilst driving 70 miles per hour on a bridge highway. Luckily, no one was hurt, but it was at that moment that I realized I screwed up. I want to replace my live the laptop lifestyle and travel around the world. But not only did I sacrifice the exact thing I was fighting so hard for, I almost killed myself in the process. And the irony is, I did exactly what all the motivational gurus told me I was supposed to do. Sleep is for a week. Be the hardest worker in the room. Just go sleep when you're dead. If working 12 hours per day isn't enough to hit my goals, let's just work 16-hour days because that will allow you to hit your goal. But despite grinding myself to the bone, only to end up in a feast and famine cycle, I'm not about to quit because I will do anything to make my vision, to make sure that my mission does come true. Or else, what's the other option? My haters, my doubters, they will be right. And when they're right, I will have to give up on my dreams and go back to a job. So I only have one option, which is to find a way to be productive, not by doing more, but by learning how to create a better alternative to achieving more whilst working less. And this is what led me down my journey to redefining productivity. And with that said, let's dive deep. I'm going to drop a slide deck here so that you guys can all reference the worksheets and resources that I'm about to share with you as I dive deep with you on my first message, which is this: the level of results you're generating in your life and business have little to do with how much or how hard you are working. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is a harsh reality. Individuals who accumulate immense wealth are not working any harder than an average employee. They are simply investing their attention differently to yield a higher return on time. So here is my objective for you today. My goal is to not help you hustle harder or trade more time for more revenue. My goal here is to help you achieve an abundance of impact, income, and freedom by multiplying your return on time. And that is the North Star metric that I will invite you all to measure your progress against. So return on time is simple. Simply take the amount of money you're making right now and divide it by the amount of hours you're working. That is return on time. And also in my class, this when we work together. If I double your income by doubling your work hours, I would have failed. Because my job here is to help you achieve more by doing less, so you can reclaim the time freedom that you want to experience, that your family deserves to have with you as an entrepreneur. So as we dive deeper, I would love to ask you these two questions. Number one, what is your current return on time? And what is your approximate hourly output? And number two, what do you want that number to be? And please, do not limit yourself, because whilst the amount of time that we have is fixed, the value of our time can flex infinitely. And here's why most people limit what they can achieve just because they have limited hours in a day. Because we are conditioned to think linearly according to the industrial time management model, where more equals more. Let's sacrifice everything for success. Let's grind and outwork everybody. Let's trade time for money. And let's get stressed, overwhelmed, and exhausted. But it doesn't have to be that way, because during my journey of redefining productivity, I have stumbled upon an exponential quantum productivity model where less equals more. Simple. We're simply focusing on simplicity and effectiveness instead of trading more time for more hours. And this is where freedom increases the profits, and where money and time works for you. And this is where our entrepreneurial journeys become predictable, exciting, and super fulfilling. So again, just to do a mid-stop right here. Instead of working harder to optimize for top-line revenue, focus on multiplying return on time. I cannot stress this enough. In order for us to do so, here are 2 steps to unlocking quantum productivity. Number 1, we must create space through time reclamation. Number 2, we must create speed through time reallocation. Never, ever, ever will I tell you to just increase more work hours just so they can work faster and get more done. Space and speed. Write these 2 words down. So first, let's talk about the need for space. By saying yes to something, you are indirectly saying no to something else. Random fires, non-stop notifications, micro transitions, other people's agendas, distractions, and a famous $10 per hour task. These are all taking us away from spending time in our zone of genius and spending time on the high leverage profit producing activities that actually moves us and our business and our lives forward. So again, in order for us to understand quantum productivity, we must also understand opportunity cost. Because the fact is that we are not busy and not have enough time because we have too many things to do. We're busy because we're subconsciously prioritizing low value tasks over things that actually matter for us, for our markets, for our team members, for our clients, and for our loved ones. So the key to alleviating overwhelm is through the process of simplification. Again, we're not here to help you grow with a more is more approach. We're here to help you unlock the power of addition by subtraction. So instead of compensating for a lack of results by working faster or adding more things to do, we've got to first eliminate what should not be consuming your time and attention in the first place. And this is where I would like to introduce you to a framework called the drip matrix. Everything that we do after we eliminate the $0 task falls down to these 4 quadrants. Number 1, things to delegate. Number 2, things to replace. Number 3, things that allow us to produce. And number 4, things to invest into. What we want to do here is to move our bandwidth from the delegation and replacement quadrant into the production and investment quadrants. Because the things in the replacement and delegation quadrants are things that might make us some money, but does not light us up. But the things that are in the production and investment quadrants are the things that not only light us up, but also make us way more money than us just drudging along mundane, day-to-day linear tasks that make some money, but doesn't really light us up or move us forwards. So again, the whole quadrant and the whole framework can be found in a slide deck. I'm just going to run through this because, again, my time is limited. So as you continually eliminate and delegate and reclaim your time, let me ask you this one question. How will you reallocate your time for the highest returns? Because, hey, just by us doing less and learn how to say no and learn how to delegate to rockstar assistants and team members, I guarantee you, you can easily free up 10 to 20 hours per week without moving backwards. In fact, you're able to create a space to move forwards at a higher speed. And this leads us to the second ingredient, which is to accumulate speed. And we do this by identifying an element of disruption. So I have to recognize that right now, if you feel like you're working too hard for too little, if you feel like you're feeling stuck, despite you putting in your best efforts, let me share with you why that is the case. That is because you're operating in a linear manner. What got you from point A to point B will not get you from point B to point C. Whilst working harder can allow you to increase your output, it will only do so to a certain extent before you hit your capacity and eventually plateau. So we have to switch gears. And that involves us making big moves. So think about this. In order for you to switch gears and enter a higher level playing field, who must you become? How can you dramatically increase your output? And what big moves do you have to make? I'm pretty sure if you're reading this, you have made those big moves already at some point in your life. You just have to make them again. For example, going from an employee to starting your own business. For example, doing everything yourself to hiring your first virtual assistant. From doing all the sales outreach and follow-ups and prospecting yourself to hiring and training a sales team. Again, all we're doing here is reallocating our time, bandwidth, effort, and energy towards a vehicle that provides us a greater return. And wherever that is, I invite you to start making that shift. And whatever move you commit to, really commit, because it's going to take a lot out of you to a point where you're forced to grow, to become a better version of yourself. And as we do so, as we shift gears and commit to executing this element of disruption, here is a reminder for you all to keep in mind. The quality of output will be determined by the intensity of focus. So if you're going to make big moves, don't wing it by investing only a fraction of your attention. I know this might sound logical and simple, but this is exactly what I see most entrepreneurs make as a mistake as they try to grow. Instead of committing to a simple yet highly effective pathway, they spread their bets across a million different things to a point where they end up with 7 offers, 9 funnels, 27 upsells, downsells, upside down sales, 9 software subscriptions, and 1 business that gives you high stress, low peace, high expenses, and low margins. And that is the exact opposite of building a highly leveraged business and becoming a highly productive entrepreneur. We have to recognize that we're all playing on a level playing field, with every one of us having 24 hours per day. But at the same time, if we simply allocate, let's say, 20% of our resources across 5 different opportunities, that's the equivalent of us trying to compete in 5 different races with 20% of our energy dedicated to each of them, was expecting ourselves to somehow win over someone else who is dedicating 100% of their focus and energy towards that one single race. No one's special here. No one's special here. And even if you're talented, I'm pretty sure somebody else dedicating their full focus and full dedication towards one pathway will outproduce someone who's talented, who is spread thin, undisciplined, highly distracted, and hyper-reactive. So again, in order for speed to be created, simplicity and focus must lead the way. And that leads us to the need to practice deep work and tapping into a flow state. So again, our productivity as entrepreneurs in the modern age are dying a death by 1,000 cuts, not because we lack the tools, resources, or information, but because we are living in a modern society that is conditioning us to be hyper-reactive to the point where we can never tap into flow. You know, that flow state where time seems to be slowing down for us, where 1 hour seems to last forever, and we're able to breeze past our most demanding tasks like as if it's nothing. That is flow state. And being productive and executing our element of disruption means spending time in the flow state, so we can produce highest quality work and develop what we call deliberate practice. There's a reason why legends like Larry King has a 4-hour routine where he writes in flow. There's a reason why peak athletes, world-class performers, have a pre-game ritual so they can prime their state for peak performance as they enter the arena. And that's because our productive outputs exponentially correlates with our intensity of focus. So if you want to do something right, if you want to step into the best version of yourself and produce your best work, practice tapping into flow. So as we put everything together, here is how we can create what we call a leverage flywheel and eventually compound our return on time. Step one, claim. You cannot expect yourself to work faster and just hustle your way towards solving every single problem. Increasing productivity starts by creating space. And that means being willing to eliminate and delegate what is no longer worth your time. And here's a filter for you. Whatever you want your desired target return on time to be, use that as your filter. So let's say you want to raise the bar and increase your return on time from $250 per hour to $1,000 per hour. Then be willing to eliminate and delegate every single task that is valued less than $1,000 per hour. Simple as that. But it's not easy to do because, again, it takes commitment to let go of something. But once you let go of that, you can tap into the second pillar, which is reallocation. And this is where you're able to reinvest time towards making big moves that lead to exponential growth. And that is where the magic happens. Because once that is done, the compounding effect kicks in as you continually reclaim and reallocate your time to a point where you're able to create new standards, one layer at a time, to a point where you eventually end up with a business that is performing way beyond your imagination and a life that involves a limitless stream of abundance and autonomy. So, as we wrap up, here are a few key reminders for you all to unlock quantum productivity. Number one, practice outcome-based project management. Never start a project without a clearly defined outcome in mind. Again, we are living in a highly distracted era. So whoever controls their attention will eventually end up on top. Number two, live below your time budget. Before saying yes to new projects or responsibilities, ask yourself what you'll be saying no to. And number three, routinely audit how your time is to be allocated and continually strive to increase the value of your time. Because again, nothing is important when everything is important. So always prioritize. And speaking of prioritization, I prioritize your results. I value my time and I value yours. I want to make sure that you're able to maximize your return on attention because you've given me the time and the attention for this training, and I want to make sure that I deliver to you. So if you can go to www.theeliteperformer.com/CLA Quantum, you will find free sources waiting for you. Number one, the presentation slide decks containing worksheets and frameworks I just shared. Number two, a playbook where you can go ahead and use to hire and train a rockstar assistant to free up your time. Number three, I'm also going to give you a free admission to our Flow Zone Challenge designed to help you achieve one purpose: reclaim time for deep work and multiply effectiveness, regardless of how busy or how reactive you are. Again, the link is www.theeliteperformer.com/CLA Quantum. I love you all. I hope you can make use of these resources. And again, be simple, achieve more.
Thank you for engaging with this session of Thrive. As we continue with our next speaker, remember the insights and strategies shared are steps towards your transformative journey this year. Stay connected for more empowering talks. The Connected Leaders Academy is committed to your ongoing journey of growth and excellence. Remember, this journey is just beginning. Let's keep the momentum going. Join our community at www.connectedleadersacademy.com.